What is up, guys? Rick Kakas here, and today we have a brand new Anthem update discussing the latest information on BioWare's new game. So, last week was a pretty big week for Anthem. We had EA Play 2018, and Anthem was showcased in the main EA press conference. And there was a lot of information that came out, especially because we pretty much had nothing before EA Play. However, in this video, we're really going to focus on the stuff that came out after that press conference. So if you watch that, hopefully you'll learn something brand new today. Now, I was actually invited out to EA Play by EA, and they did pay for my flights and accommodations, full disclosure. So I got to play Anthem, I got to get hands-on with the game, and I got to have quite a few conversations with the developers. So the information we're going over in today's video is going to be augmented and clarified with all of that background information. So hopefully you guys will get a clearer picture here than you would from some other news outlets. And so let's get started here with a pretty big topic in modern gaming right now: post-launch content. What the heck is going on after Anthem launches on February 22nd, 2019? Well, it turns out that after the press conference, we actually got a ton of official information about what exactly would happen with Anthem post-launch. Now, a lot of this information is coming from Mark Dura. He is the executive producer of Anthem, and he has been tweeting an absolute storm and revealing a ton of information that we otherwise wouldn't really know. So, the first thing we're going to take a look at is an indication of the type of content we're going to get post-launch. Someone asks, are there any details you can share about the endgame, or what keeps us coming back day over day, week after week? Mark Dura replies, "One of the great things about a world that was left unfinished by its gods is that it opens the door to us changing things that affect the fundamental way you play the game." So that seems a little bit vague, but it actually is quite telling. The base storyline of Anthem is the fact that it has all of these massive machines scattered around the landscape, and you'll see that if you watch gameplay or just look at screenshots. Now, these massive machines are referred to as Shaper relics, Shapers being the gods, essentially, that left the world of Anthem. And they're Shapers because they literally shape the world. These massive machines are terraforming equipment, and what Mark Dura is saying here is that they can utilize that terraforming equipment. They can utilize this aspect of the story to fundamentally change the game and change the way you play that game. So, for example, we've seen a lot of jungle. Well, what if they have an event where those terraforming machines turn on and suddenly that big area of jungle, well, it's desert now, or it's volcanoes erupting, or it's an icy wasteland. They can do all of that stuff, and that is exactly what Mark Dura is hinting at. Now, to what degree, we don't really know, but this would indicate some sort of events, similar to stuff, I would say the seasonal events in Destiny, like the Dawning, like whatever, where you see the tower change and now it's snowy and all of that. Well, they're gonna have the actual world of Anthem change if this is to be believed. And it's Mark Dura, so it should be. Now, one of the concerns people may have after hearing that is, well, is it going to be pretty bare bones at launch, and then we have to wait for the post-launch content for fun things to happen? Well, someone kind of asked that and mentioned Destiny 2, and Mark Dura did reply saying, nope, the game should feel complete at launch. This just lets us keep things fresh and evolving. So that's really cool, and those key phrases, fresh and evolving, that's exactly what you want for post-launch content, to be coming back to different things and have a fresh gameplay experience. Now, speaking of concerns people may have, what about price? What about DLC? Is there's going to be a season's pass? All of those questions have come up because BioWare, when they were on stage at EA Play, they said there's no loot boxes in the game, there's no paying for power, so no getting advantages via paying for anything, and that The kind of monetization in Anthem is going to be direct purchase customization. Like they said that you can buy, for example, skins, and you will know exactly what you're buying when you buy it. So picture somewhat of a Fortnite store. You want a certain skin, you buy that certain skin. You don't, again, buy a loot box or buy a random chance to get what you want. But it turns out that Anthem will actually have one of the best, most fair post-launch monetization models of all time. I'm not even kidding. Firstly, speaking of the cosmetics that you can buy in the in-game store, you can actually earn all of those things for free. Someone said, "Are you saying all cosmetics available for purchase can be earned by playing the game?" Mark Durr just said, yes. So, unlike in Fortnite, where if you want the Raven skin, you gotta buy the Raven skin. In Anthem, if you have the equivalent of the Raven skin, if you have this really sweet looking customization feature for your Colossus, yes, you can buy that right away and guarantee your access to it, but there'll likely be a challenge in Anthem where if you complete it, you will unlock that same skin. So they're not even locking the cosmetics behind a paywall, which I think most people would even be okay with. They're also saying you can earn those cosmetics in-game without paying a dime. That's insane. No, they've got to be charging for something, right? There's got to be a season's pass. Well, absolutely not. Someone asked the question, what will the season's pass have and what will the price range be like? Mark says, no season's pass, we will have content after launch. So, in an environment right now where other games are getting roasted for having a season's pass and paid expansions, like right now the Black Ops pass for Black Ops 4, the community is outraged at that. Meanwhile, Anthem is just saying, yep, no season's pass. Well, will there be paid DLC in some form? I mean, for goodness sakes, it can't be all this good of news. Is there truly free DLC? Well, the answer to the question, will content be free or paid expansions, is we want to make sure that people can always play together, indicating free expansions. And if that wasn't enough, there was another person who asked, I know you might not be ready to discuss this yet, but as your EA Play was pretty open, will there be any seasons passes or paid expansions in Anthem, or will everything except cosmetics be included? I hate to separate the player bases in online games. And Mark Dura said, we do not want to bifurcate the players by locking story behind a paid expansion. By the way, bifurcate, kind of the new word of the day, it means to split up into two categories, to fork into two different paths of, again, people who are paying for content and people who aren't. And if that wasn't enough, if you're like, well, the lingo might be weird, there might still be paid expansions, someone asked again, will the content be free or paid expansions? Mark Dura said, story content, new game spaces, that kind of stuff will be for everyone, aka it's gonna be free. So, things are sounding pretty darn good, but will all content always be free for Anthem? Well, not necessarily. Someone said, are you saying there won't be any paid DLCs in the game at all? Mark Dura, in sake of clarity, did reply, I'm not saying that. For example, we might decide to add another Javelin in the future. Maybe that would be paid, or maybe not. Absolutes are hard. So that's kind of a lot of information to take in, but essentially here is the post-launch model for Anthem. Once the game launches, you're going to be able to buy cosmetic skins directly from an in-game store, again, a la Fortnite. But better than Fortnite, you can actually earn those skins in-game for the most part. I'm not sure if there may be certain skins that you can only purchase and then other certain skins that you can only unlock, via gameplay, all of that stuff. But generally it sounds like a direct purchase store with also the option to unlock in-game. Already, that's very good. That's more generous of a model than we've had in most other games, frankly. On top of that, new story content and new gameplay spaces are going to be completely free. It's going to be for everyone. BioWare is on record in saying they have no interest in splitting up the player base, and therefore there's going to be no areas of the game, there's going to be no new missions or anything like that that's going to be only available for paying players. The only paid DLC that Anthem may have is new javelins potentially. So if they come out with a 5th and or 6th javelin in the future, maybe that'll be, you know, $10, $15, $20, something like that. But that is it. And importantly, that won't split the player base. Yes, you have someone who is paying, getting a new fancy javelin, but he's still going to be able to do the new story content and all of that stuff with people who don't want to spend any money on Anthem after they buy it initially. So again, that is a remarkably fair and frankly awesome post-launch model. You've got to compare it to what's happening right now. I mean, Destiny is about to charge $40 for Forsaken, and then another, you know, $40, $30 for an annual pass of more content throughout the year. Essentially, Anthem is just giving that annual pass content for free. Story content, new areas for free for all players post-launch. And that is a really big deal. If that content can be substantial, if it can be something, I would say, like the April update in Destiny 2, that's providing new things to do and new areas to go and new gear to earn, importantly, not just cosmetic gear, it's actually providing new weapons and new armor potentially and so on. That is going to be absolutely fantastic, and that's going to mean that Anthem is going to be sticking around for a long time and keep a pretty substantial player base for a long time as well. Now, moving on from there, let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing in Anthem post-launch, essentially what you're going to be doing for the endgame content. So, in Anthem, you have a bunch of different missions that are involved with the story, kind of think strikes almost from Destiny, and you have the free roam setting as well, which you go out, you can go out solo or with a group, and you just explore the world, and there's stuff to earn and to do there as well. So think patrol mode in Destiny, frankly. But there's also going to be strongholds. Strongholds are kind of like raids from Destiny. Now, I don't think they'll have the same complication as in Destiny, the same puzzle solving per se, but they're kind of the bigger, harder than usual pieces of content meant for the end game in Anthem. Now, strongholds are meant to be tackled in a group. In fact, you will need a group of 4 in order to play a stronghold. You can't matchmake solo. However, I do suspect there'll be people who make their 3 friends stand back as they try to solo it for the lulz, but I digress. However, this is really the big question, especially if you're coming from Destiny. Is there going to be matchmaking for strongholds, or are you going to make us get friends together or LFG groups or something? Well, BioWare says yes, there is going to be matchmaking, so if you want to tackle a stronghold, although you will need more players than yourself to do so, you will have built-in matchmaking, and that's an awesome thing. Like raid matchmaking and nightfall matchmaking and so on, those are things that have been asked for in Destiny for the longest time, and Anthem's just like, yeah, matchmake or get friends together, and I'm sure it'd be a lot easier with a dedicated group, but they're giving you the option to matchmake if you want to. And what are you going to earn from said strongholds? Well, loot. And we're going to end this video with this tweet from Mark Dura, and it's absolutely fantastic. There is crafting. There are top tier gear and weapons that have special properties. Gear is designed to be a long chase, giving you a lot of goals. That is exactly what I want to hear. Exactly what I want to hear. Coming from Destiny, where the gear is not designed to have long-term goals, and once you get it, and that's it. This is some very good news coming from Anthem's developers, frankly. Now, there's a lot more information about loot out there and going to come out in the future, and we'll have a separate video going over all of the things we know about loot because it is its own fascinating and frankly long topic. So that's going to be it for today's video. Mainly wanted to talk about the DLC model because it's so important, and you know, again, there's other games like Black Ops 4 blowing up right now because the community is mad. It's charging for Seasons Pass. Anthem is doing the exact opposite. That's fantastic to hear, and I can't wait for this game. Guys, that's it for the video. If you guys want to see more Anthem content, be sure to slap that subscribe button. If you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, that's going to be linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.